Imagine two siblings growing up in the same house, having the same parents, going to the same schools, and earning almost the same salaries throughout their working lives despite choosing similar careers. But their lives are very different from each other. One of the siblings enjoys his retirement with an investment of $1.4 million, a house with a debt, and complete financial freedom. He spends his winters in hot climates. He even helps his grandchildren with university expenses. He doesn't look at prices in restaurants. But the other brother retired with an accumulation of $180,000. On top of that, he has a mortgage debt that he has to pay for another 12 years. He lives in financial stress. He is not satisfied with his life at all. He works part-time in a shop because he does not cover Social Security expenses. He falls asleep at night thinking about whether he can afford both his medicines and real estate taxes. Same childhood, same upbringing style, same earnings, but radically different results. Why do you think so much difference? Sit down for a minute, put your tea, put down the phone, and listen to me. Because what I'm going to tell you now will make you say, "I wish I had listened," or "I'm so glad I'm listening 10 years later." If you're ready now, I'm starting, my friend. I'm a retired finance person, bro. I've run automobile factories for years, managed production lines, established and managed millions of dollar operations. When I retired, I left this job with a serious fortune because I always put the money I earned in the right places at the right time. Now I'm sharing that experience, that knowledge. Why? Because, my friend, I can't keep this information just to myself. If you don't learn and share something, that information will die with you. I don't want this. This separation didn't happen, bro. Neither of them was very young. They didn't have the resources to make meaningful financial progress at that time. It didn't happen in their 30s either. At that time, they were both starting families with similar approaches and building their careers. It didn't happen in their 50s either. Then the direction was already drawn and it was almost impossible to go back. I seem to hear you asking where it happened. This separation took place completely and only in their 40s. A brother made a number of decisions that seemed small at that moment during that 10 years. The other made seemingly small but different decisions. Neither of them even realized that they had determined the whole shape of their lives for the rest. Dude, did you know that 40s are the most decisive financial decade you will ever live? Not because it's more difficult to make decisions at this age, but because the results have grown dramatically into unnoticeable forms until it's too late to change. Today, I will tell you exactly why the 40s are so disproportionately important. I will tell you about the decisions that separate a comfortable retirement from a stressful retirement. And no matter how old you are, I will share what you can do right now. So stay with me, my friend, first. Let me explain the mathematics that makes the 40s so strong. My friend, the 40s are at the intersection of these three financial powers that have never come together in their lives. Understanding these powers helps us to clearly understand why it determines everything after this decade. For most professionals, income reaches the highest level at some point between the ages of 42 and 55. In the 30s, the hikes that feel significant will slow down or stop. But the absolute numbers are higher than ever in history and will not reach this level again. This means that the 40s represented the years when he had the most raw materials for the construction of wealth. A 45-year-old who earns $120,000 has the ability to save more absolute dollars than any previous period of his career. And I really see it as talent and second strength, bro, the remaining compound growth period. At 40, you still have 20 to 25 years to traditional retirement. This is enough time for the money to almost quadruple, according to historical market returns. $1 deposited at the age of 40 turns into about $4 at the age of 65. $1 deposited at the age of 50 is only $2.50. Deposited at the age of 55 is only $2. The compound growth multiplier is falling rapidly with each passing year. The 40s have been in the last decade when significant compound growth is still possible. The money you invest in 42 works much harder than you invest in 52. The third power is expense stability. By the 40s, most of the big expenses either peaked or a rapid decline began. Children become independent and leave home over time. The house you bought with difficult conditions now fits your budget comfortably. Your career closet has been formed. Furniture has been taken. This stability creates a potential margin that isn't in the 30s as each expense item grows at the same time. The real question is, bro, will this margin flow to savings, or will it be destroyed by lifestyle expansion? When these three forces come together, an extraordinary leverage effect emerges. You have more income than ever. You have enough time for compound growth to function meaningfully. And you have a potential margin from stable expenses. People who evaluate this equation can build great fortunes. The person who misses comes face to face with insurmounted mathematical constraints. Now let's look at more concrete numbers, my friend. I want you to imagine someone with $100,000 in retirement savings at the age of 40. He earns $110,000 annually and can reasonably set aside 15% of his income, or $16,500 per year. So what does he set aside for? This person can really set aside 15% from 40 to 65. And if he invests in diversified index funds that provide 8% returns per year, he will have about $1.35 million in savings until retirement. Dude, let's be honest, it's not that difficult. In addition to Social Security, this means a comfortable retirement with a significant margin. But on the contrary, if he saves only 5% in his 40s, then increases retirement to 15% in 50 when he feels more urgent, he accumulates about $780,000 in retirement. $570,000 less despite only 10 years of low contribution. Now, bro, think about the third scenario. The same person actually reduces their retirement contributions to expand their lifestyle instead of saving in their 40s. He enlarges the house, buys more beautiful cars, makes more expensive vacations. Of course, we all want to do this, but then their contribution in their 40s is only 2% of the average income. So my friend, at the age of 50, the truth shows itself, panics, and tries to make up for it with 20% savings until retirement. Despite this aggressive effort at the age of 65, he has only accumulated about $590,000. The comfortable 40s cost $760,000 in retirement wealth compared to consistent savings. The gap created by the decisions, the correction could not close the decade. Now let's consider the specific decisions that are the most important in this critical decade. One by one, bro. The first decision is housing. The 40s often bring the desire to upgrade their living space. A more peaceful life in a bigger house. Children have grown up and you need more space. You have achieved success and you want a home that reflects this. Mortgage payments seem to be manageable based on income. This decision to upgrade a house may be the only most decisive financial choice of its entire life, because the family who moves from $350,000 to houses to $600,000 increases the cost of monthly housing by about $1,500 to $2,000. This means $18,000 to $24,000 a year that cannot be invested for 25 years from 40 to 65. This annual difference grows compound between $900,000 and $1.3 million in retirement wealth. A house upgrade really costs $1 million from the retirement money, my friend. I'm not saying that no one should ever buy a bigger house. I say that most people make this decision without understanding the real cost. They only think they spend an extra $1,800 a month on housing. In fact, they spend over $1 million on their retirement wealth. The family who stays at home modestly can retire earlier, work part-time instead of full-time in their 60s, help their children buy a house, and survive financial emergencies without disaster. The second decision is vehicles. 40s often bring more expensive vehicle purchases. Because we have worked and want to see the
I'm
reward,
not saying no one
practical
should ever buy
sedan
a
turns
bigger
into a
home.
luxury
I'm
vehicle.
saying most
The
people
reliable
make this
SUV
decision
is
without
exchanged with a
understanding the
prestigious
real
model.
cost.
The family which drives 2 vehicles at $28,000 instead of 2 vehicles for $45,000 carries about $34,000 less in vehicle debt, pays lower insurance premiums, and encounters cheaper repairs. Over time, this vehicle difference causes a decrease between $200,000 and $400,000 in retirement wealth, depending on how often vehicles are changed. The third decision is the children's lifestyle and education. The 40s are often one of the most expensive years of raising children. Young people want cars, insurance, activities, and eventually college. Some families use over $100,000 parental loans to send their children to prestigious universities. Some use all of their retirement accounts. Some of them completely stop contributing during their university years. Each of these decisions mortgages the retirement of parents to the education of children. Children step into the peak earning years with all their careers in front of them. Parents, on the other hand, enter their 50s with exhausted savings and have only decades to recover. Families who successfully exceed this often make uncomfortable choices. They require children to prefer public universities or scholarship schools. Expect them to contribute by working or taking on loans and maintaining their retirement contributions even when university pressure creates. The fourth decision is career risk tolerance. The 40s are our most important ages that put up opportunities for career moves that can significantly increase income. New companies hiring you for high-level roles, startups offering stocks, industries where your skills are premium. But many people start to avoid more and more risks in their 40s when they should take strategic risks. They have built seniority and comfort in their current employers. The thought of starting over is threatening. However, the age of 40 is the last window for income acceleration. From the age of 50, discrimination in recruitment processes begins to affect opportunities. A person who takes a strategic career risk at 43 has time to recover if he does not take the risk. There is no waiting until 53. The income gap between staying comfortable and pursuing growth can exceed $30,000 to $40,000 per year. In 10 years, this means an additional profit of $300,000 to $400,000. The fifth decision is to accept lifestyle inflation. The 40s are the period when we feel the social pressure to show success the most. Coworkers go on magnificent holidays. Neighbors refresh their kitchens. Friends buy boats and summer cottages. Some families resist this pressure and lead a lifestyle that makes them feel comfortable at the end of their 30s. Some expand to adapt to the peer group and direct each increasing income pound to visible consumption. The difference in retirement results between the two approaches is usually over $1 million, and this money is an amount that seriously affects retirement. Let me tell you about David and Christine, my friend, to see how it creates a compound effect. David and Christine got married in their late 20s. By they turned 40, they had a savings of $185,000 in their retirement account. They had a modest house worth $320,000 with $180,000 left on it, and they had 2 children aged 12 and 9. Their total income reached $165,000. David insisted on upgrading the house many times. A similar house on a nicer site cost $575,000. Christine was very hesitant at first, but in the end, this offer must have been attractive to her, and she accepted. The house upgrade increased its monthly expenses by $1,650. They balanced their pension contributions by reducing them from 15% to 6%. It was temporary, they said to themselves. 2 years later, David's car started to cause problems. Instead of repairing it, they decided it deserved a nicer car, and the new SUV added another $680 to monthly expenses. And Christine also renewed the car a year later. Children's high school years brought special sports training, SAT courses, and university visits. When the first child enrolled in an out-of-state university, David and Christine did not ask for a more affordable option than their daughter and used parental loans. Throughout their 40s, David and Christine never felt financially irresponsible. Every individual decision seemed reasonable. At the age of 50, there were $240,000 in retirement accounts. Only $55,000 more than the figure in 40, despite 10 years of contribution and market growth. When the children finally became independent, David and Christine decided to maximize the contribution. They saved up $685,000 by the age of 65. This seemed too big until he made the retirement projections. It was understood that they would run out of money at the age of 82. They would have to sell the house, dramatically reduce expenses, or continue working in their 70s. Now let's look at Robert and Jennifer. They looked strikingly like David and Christine at the age of 40. $155,000 total income, $165,000 retirement savings, 2 children aged 11 and 8. Robert suggested moving to a bigger house. Jennifer objected harshly. He had read the mathematical effect of housing decisions on retirement results. Just like you are doing right now, they decided to stay in their current home. At first, it felt like sacrifice, but the monthly difference of $1,650 went straight to retirement accounts. When Robert's car was renewed, they bought a certified second-hand car at the age of 3. As college approached, they talked openly with their children about expenses. Both children went to public universities with scholarships. During their 40s, Robert and Jennifer felt like they were swimming against the social movement. Their lifestyle seemed modest compared to their peers. At the age of 50, they had $580,000 in their retirement accounts. When aggressive savings were combined with market returns, savings in 10 years more than tripled. At the age of 65, Robert and Jennifer had accumulated $1.65 million, and thanks to this money, their houses were paid out. They could retire completely, they could travel a lot, and they would never have to worry about money again. The mathematical difference between these two families is not from different incomes or different investment skills, my friend. It was only made from different age decisions in their 40s. What I find most striking is this. Throughout the 40s, both families were equally satisfied with their lives. Research consistently showed that lifestyle inflation only provides temporary happiness increases, but within 18 to 24 months, people get used to their new normals. David and Christine didn't live their 40s any longer than Robert and Jennifer. He just spent more. Those additional expenses did not provide lasting satisfaction. They only permanently restricted the remaining decades. Now, let me give you concrete directions according to where you are now, my friend. If you are in your 20s or 30s, you have a prediction gift, my friend. Now you know that the 40s will bring constant pressure to expand the lifestyle during the peak earning years. Create the habits that will protect you then. Determine the automatic retirement contributions that you will never reduce. Define enough before you reach the income level that will make surplus possible. If you are in your 40s, you are standing at the most important financial turning point of your life. The decisions you will make in the next 10 years will determine whether you will have a comfortable life or a stressful retirement for the rest of your life. Take a look at every big expense category right now. Is it the most big enough you've ever lived? Is the means of transportation of vehicles or a symbol of wealth? Do you finance retirement first or lifestyle? Every yes to lifestyle expansion is a plus to retirement security. If you're in your late 40s and you see yourself in the wrong story, you still have time, man. Each percentage point you now add to the savings rate will change the result. Not in retirement. Now think about shrinking the house and start right away. Sell expensive vehicles. Switch to paying more jobs, even if they require change. If you left your 40s behind with insufficient accumulation, focus on the elements you control. Delay Social Security, maximize benefits. Consider working longer. Capital is revealed by shrinking the house. Now let me tell you the psychological truth behind all these decisions, my friend. If you have watched this far, I now see you as a member of my family. Welcome to our family. Let's continue. The difficulty of living thrifty in the 40s comes from the feeling that you have earned your success and now you have the right to enjoy it. After 20 years of work, the urge to finally live well feels completely legitimate. So when does this pleasure really come? That's exactly the trap, my friend. The satisfaction you seek with lifestyle expansion leaves my place to a permanent restriction after a temporary pleasure. The enlarged house feels exciting for 18 months. Then it becomes normal, but unfortunately, it permanently reduces retirement savings. The luxury car gives a year of excitement, but then it turns into an ordinary car, but permanently restricts the options. Unfortunately, but true satisfaction, buddy, is not by consuming the peak earning years, but by turning those years into lasting freedom. The person who resists lifestyle inflation in his 40s is really satisfied every day of his comfortable retirement. The person who is inflated leads a real stressful life every day of his limited retirement. The discomfort of living in the 40s lasts 10 years. The reward is 30 years or longer. The pleasure of madness in the 40s lasts 2 to 3 years. The result is 30 years or longer. Now imagine yourself at the age of 70, bro. You are sitting on a porch or living room, quiet in the morning. In a version of this future, which grandchild do you think you will meet this month? You are planning a trip to a place you have always wanted to see. Unexpected expenses do not threaten your stability because you have a solid accumulation behind you. In the other version, you calculate whether this month's Social Security check will even be enough for their drugs. You wonder what will happen if the car needs repair. You think about what will happen in an uncertain future with limited options. In both versions, you made the 40s decisions decades ago. Both endure the consequences. Which version you will be depends on you, my friend, and it totally depends on the decisions you make at that time. Not to luck, not to income, to decisions about housing, vehicles, education, career, and lifestyle. These decisions have a compound effect just like money. Your 40s will pass, my friend. Make conscious choices or make assumed choices. This 10 years will pass. The only question is, what version of the 70-year-old are you creating? Your 40s is not a punishment, it's an opportunity. It's up to you how you take advantage of this opportunity. So how old are you?